Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video. So I'm mainly going to be focusing on more information on Realm of Magic, but there's a follow-up to my last video that I want to address. Somehow I missed this tweet, but it's a pretty significant one. So SimGuru Grant says, only watching from the sidelines, but it's been very thrilling to watch the team deliver the beach and witches finally. The team has been at it for almost 5 years now, if you don't include pre-launch work, and it takes a long time to get to everything. And 2019 isn't over. So with that last sentence, he's basically confirming, I think, that we're getting at least one more pack this year besides Realm of Magic. And like I said in my previous Info and Thoughts video, I think that is an expansion pack that is coming in November. Probably University or Farming, or it could be something that's completely surprising and out of left field, but I think we've had enough of that stuff this year, so hopefully University, so we can finally get that done. We've waited long enough. But whatever happens, I'm glad there is still at least one surprise left up their sleeve, because it would have been too easy, I think, if they had just announced what packs were coming during that roadmap thing. I mean, they didn't say the names, but they just said one expansion pack, one game pack, and one stuff pack, and that was for the next 6 months, and that was back in April. So they deliberately left out part of October, November, and December, so that's about 2.5 months that could easily have something happen within it. And as I discussed in the previous video, it looks like there is going to be at least one surprise up their sleeves also in terms of free content for The Sims 4's 5th anniversary in September. But let's get into Realm of Magic. So SimGuru Ninja posted this GIF right here. No caption because waterfall. Enough said. But I really like how this looks. It does remind me of fall, and now that I look at it more closely, it just might be late fall because some of the trees here have lost their leaves, and then, well, there's the pine trees still keeping their leaves because they're evergreens, but especially with the terrain in the foreground, it looks like a fall texture. So I am really looking forward to seeing Glimmer Brook in fall if this is the case. It just has a really nice vibe to me just from this GIF alone, and I like the bridge in the background. Hopefully that's a bridge that our Sims could walk on, because I love to take some pictures there. Especially now that I have Mosquito stuff, then I can use the tripod and the pose marker and place them out in the world and do some poses. I think that would be really fun. And I hope that Glimmer Brook will be more interesting than Forgotten Hollow. I really wanted to like that world more, but it just feels kinda blah to me, and it's not just because the world is small. I just feel like there isn't that much to do. Like, you can play chess in the town square, and you can fish at that small lake, which looks really cool, but that's really all you can do there. Just fish. Hopefully they can update it so that you can swim in there, but yeah, just not a whole lot to do. Hopefully both Glimmer Brook and the Magic Realm have a lot of collectible spawners, because I remember how with Strangerville, the previous game pack, there were hardly any, which disappointed me a little bit. Another thing SimGuru Ninja posted is a new header on his profile. So we got what looks like just a living room where a Sim is just casting a spell of some kind, and then there's, I'm pretty sure, a familiar floating behind him, the one that's like a skull. And just overall looks like a pretty nice room. I really love that fireplace. Looks like it's powered by crystals, which just reminds me of paladins. And I really like the window too. And there are supposed to be simple plain swatches for the window without any inlays, in addition to other stained glass patterns and other normal glass patterns. About club rules, SimGuru Romeo confirmed that there are 2 new ones in Realm of Magic. I'm guessing one of them is to make potions, and then maybe the other one is to do duels? Not really sure, but this is definitely a good game pack to have some club rules so that you can have a witch coven. Yeah, that could be really fun. One thing about spellcasters is that SimGuru Romeo says if players did not want a familiar, wand, or a broom because that was the story they were telling, it should not make them a worse spellcaster. Saying wands, brooms, and familiars are better felt like it was forcing players into a specific playstyle. So that's pretty good. There is some flexibility there. You don't need to get all of those things if you want to be the best spellcaster in the world. SimGuru Romeo also confirms that there is a new need that you will need to maintain as a spellcaster for your powers. And I like that. I like when there is a new need when you have an occult that you're playing as, because it's just one of those things where it's like a very visible difference in comparison to just your typical human sim, where it's like, okay, yeah, this is one of those things that indicates that the life has changed for your sim. Romeo also confirmed that there's no new careers in Realm of Magic, though they did add 2 new aspirations. And I'm not surprised. This is not a game pack where I absolutely need a new career. I think there's plenty of other stuff that we'll have to do anyway, so yeah, this doesn't really bother me. It's also been confirmed that there are no hybrids with spellcasters. Controlling the power of a spellcaster takes all of a sim's strength. There is no way they would be able to harness the dark arts of a vampire and spellcasting at the same time. In short, no. And that does make sense to me, because especially with vampires, they also have that thing in the UI where they have that menu where you can level up their powers and such, and I don't know how that would work if you had a sim who is a spellcaster and a vampire at the same time, because I think the spellcasters would have a menu just like that so that they can level up and all that stuff. SimGuru Romeo also says you will not be able to live in the realm of magic. Well, I don't know, I somewhat disagree with that. Like, yeah, you can't literally live there as in just building a house and moving into it. But I think you could stay there for an extended period of time if you wanted to, as long as you keep your motives up. You would have to occasionally leave, because if your sim is employed in a rabbit hole career, then yeah, they will have to just leave and go back home so they can go back to the rabbit hole. But other than that, I think you could live most of your life there if you really tried. If you do want to make an uber powerful spellcaster and learn every spell there is to know, that will be possible, because SimGuru Romeo says you will be able to overmax and learn everything possible if you desire. Yeah, that's really cool. That is something that I might want to do with my sim Alice, who I'm bringing back from The Sims 3, and she's gonna be a witch again, and she already was supposed to be very powerful during the end of The Sims 3 era, so I do want her to build up her powers back up to that level eventually. About fairies as an occult, SimGuru Romeo says nothing is ever off the table. We will always be listening to what the community wants most and try to deliver the best experiences we can. So that's pretty cool. I would like to see fairies eventually, though I feel like giving another magic-themed game pack for fairies would be stretching it a little too much. I feel like at this point maybe they could just put fairies into an expansion pack like farming and reuse stuff from Realm of Magic so that they don't have to do as much work, and so that it's easier to fit fairies into an expansion pack rather than giving them their own specialized pack. With wands, Romeo says you will designate if your sim always uses wands or never uses wands. It is a toggle on your sim. You will be able to turn it on and off whenever you wish. I'm glad to hear that. I figured maybe you would have to unlock this feature. Maybe you still do, but I'm glad it is that simple, just like how it is with turning on and off the Fame Shine with Get Famous. With the familiars, it is possible to sell them at retail stores with Get to Work. SimGuru Romeo says yes, those can all be sold. When the familiar is in the orb form, it is attached to the orb. When a familiar is bound to a sim, it will actually consume the orb until the familiar is unbound again, returning to orb form. I think that's pretty cool. Then you can set up your own witchy sort of shop with all sorts of things that can really help out your spellcasters. Maybe you could even have one in Magnolia Promenade where it's a realistic setting, and then there's Sims walking by is like, what the heck is this? Except for the spellcasters, they'll know what's up. But then a lot of Sims will just be really confused, and maybe some will get curious and walk in and then decide, oh, actually I do want to get into this life of being a spellcaster. There could be some interesting stories you could do there. And that wraps up another Sims info and thoughts video. So feel free to let me know in the comments section below if you think there is another pack coming this year, and what you think of all of the new Realm of Magic info. And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!